Moving into wide receivers last year in 2024, the Browns went into the season with Amari Cooper at the top, Jerry Jeudy, who they had just traded for and extended. They had Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman, David Bell, Michael Woods, and fifth-round rookie Jamari Thrash. Now, going into 2025, the lead receiver is obviously Jerry Jeudy, 6'1", 195 pounds. He's 26 years old. This is already his sixth year in the NFL. The Browns, like I said, traded for and extended him last offseason. Just an $8 million cap number this season. So this is Andrew Berry working these deals. And say what you will about Andrew Berry, hate him, love him, don't like some things about him. The dude knows how to work contracts and financially manipulate the salary cap. He's an expert at this. So like I said, they extended him last year, but he's just an $8 million cap hit this year, $10.3 million cap hit in 2026, and a $13.4 million cap hit in 2027. Now that jumps up to a $29 million cap hit in 2028, but that's the first void year, and that will likely be spread out by then at least after a restructure or two down the road. So very manageable contract for Jerry Jeudy to have a wide receiver one at this price point. He finally had his big breakout season last year with the Browns after four, okay seasons with the Denver Broncos. He wasn't bad in Denver. He just wasn't the elite productive wide receiver that they thought they were getting, when they took him in the first round out of Alabama. So last year, 90 catches on 145 targets. He had 1,229 yards. These are all career highs for him. He only had 4 touchdowns, but then again, we didn't score very many touchdowns last season overall. The passing game was complete garbage, so the fact that Jerry Jeudy was able to produce career highs in targets, receptions, and yards shows how much he dominated the target share last year on the field. We didn't really see him take off. He had some nice moments before Week 8, but it was the Week 8 game against Baltimore where he really started to take off and solidify himself as the top receiver in this offense. Before that Week 8, he had several games, though, where he had just one catch. There was hardly anything to talk about from his stat line. But once Amari Cooper got traded and Jameis Winston, the most competent quarterback we had last year, finally took over, Jeudy launched into a run that would see him end the season as the 6th best receiver in the entire NFL in terms of receiving yardage. He was top 6. Unreal. So the question now that I've been asking this entire offseason, because I don't like to crown people things before they really earn it. Now, he had a hell of a season. Question now, can he do it again? It's time for Jerry Jeudy to finally start stacking seasons like this to firmly put his name in the conversation for one of the top wide receivers in the league, what he was drafted to be. We see guys all the time come into the NFL, not do a whole lot, and then they have one blow-up year, and that was really all their career had, and then it was just kind of middling the rest of the way. I'm hoping Jerry Jeudy is not that. I want Jerry Jeudy to stack these seasons together and solidify himself in the conversation for wide receivers in this league. Now, wide receiver 2, Cedric Tillman. This is where, our wide receiver room, it's iffy. It's definitely iffy. So Cedric Tillman, 6'3", 215, 25 years old, third year in the league. He's got 1 year left after this on his rookie deal. Cap number just $1.5 million. Now he caught just 21 passes for 224 yards as a rookie. Very minimal involvement in the offense. And then absolutely nothing to speak about for Cedric Tillman last year in 2024 in the first 6 weeks of the season. Over those first 6 games, he had 5 targets, 3 catches, 9 yards. That was Cedric Tillman last year, and it looked like, boy, this looks like another flame-out third-round pick at receiver for the Browns. And then suddenly Amari Cooper gets moved, Deshaun Watson gets hurt, and boom, Tillman breaks out with Jameis Winston for 8 catches, 7 catches, 6 catches. He has 81 yards, 99 yards, 75 yards. And those were the games against the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chargers. He had 3 touchdowns, 2 of them coming against the Ravens. He was on a tear, and it looked like the breakout is here. This is Cedric Tillman. This is what we thought we were getting when he came, out of college from Tennessee. This is the guy that I was hyped that the Browns drafted. And then a freaking concussion against the Steelers in that Snow Bowl Thursday night game after he already had 3 catches for 47 yards on 8 targets and missed the rest of the game. Missed the rest of the season. So that's the concerning piece for Cedric Tillman. But his snap counts went from 30% over those first 6 weeks to over 90% snap count share during his 3-game stretch where he looked fantastic and was breaking out. So we need Cedric Tillman to be that guy this season. After him, it's hard to kind of see where to go in terms of who would be that third option in the receiving core, but I think it's at the moment it's got to be Deontay Johnson. As much as I'm not a big Deontay Johnson fan, based on his off-field antics, his locker room, he just can't stick anywhere anymore. But he's a very good wide receiver, especially out of the slot where we need a guy. So he's 5'10", 183, 28 years old. This is his 7th NFL season. The Browns signed him to a 1-year deal for the veteran minimum of $1.17 million. The story last season, Steelers traded him before the season started, before camp and all that stuff, went to Carolina. He played there. He actually had a nice stretch in Carolina, but then things went, sour there. They traded him to the Ravens. And then, if I remember correctly, you guys tell me if I'm wrong about this in the comments, I think the Ravens then cut him. The Texans signed him, then they cut him. And then I think the Ravens signed and cut him again, if I'm not mistaken, after they had some injuries at wide receiver, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Either way, if he sticks on the roster, he can be a very reliable target, especially for a young quarterback, especially for this Kevin Stefanski, timing, rhythm. You need to be able to run your routes. You need to be able to create separation and be where you're supposed to be in a route. He's that kind of receiver. So I'm hoping he sticks. I'm hoping he can get over whatever was going on last year, but I would still, if I had to bet on it, I would say he's probably not on the week 1 roster. We'll see. I hope he can be. After Deontay Johnson, we're looking at David Bell, 6'1", 212 pounds, 24 years old. This is the final year of his rookie deal. Cap number just $1.4 million, so very easily could not be on this team week 1 if the Browns don't want him. He missed all of last season with a hip injury, very minimal production in his first 2 seasons. 24 catches for 214 yards as a rookie. Then he had 14 catches for just 167 yards and 3 touchdowns in his second season. And then, 68 of those yards. Okay, so his second season was 2023. And if you guys remember, we had the Week 18 exhibition game down in Cincinnati against the Bengals, where we started Jeff Driscoll. We benched all our starters, getting ready for the playoffs and all that stuff. David Bell was like our lead receiver. And he had 68 of his 167 yards that year, and 2 of those 3 touchdowns all came in that one game where he was the wide receiver 1. So again, even less production his second season than his rookie season. So I was so excited for David Bell whenever the Browns drafted him, because he was a college football dominator in the Big Ten. He was I think he was the Big Ten wide receiver of the year, all that kind of stuff. His accolades in college were incredible at Purdue. Just never really transitioned to the NFL very well. So David Bell, maybe on the roster, maybe not. After him, Michael Woods II, 6'1", 204 pounds. He's 25 years old. This is his 4th year in the league. It's the 3rd season, though, that actually counts, because if you remember, he missed his second season with a torn Achilles, and I think that actually happened in OTA time, so about this time of year. So as OTAs kick off this week and everything, prayers for the players' safety and health. I know it's just, helmets and shorts and everything this week, but guys can still get hurt, unfortunately. So I hope to God everybody stays healthy. So anyway, back to Michael Woods. So he only has 2 accrued NFL seasons. His cap number, just $1 million cap hit. Last year, he caught 7 passes for 65 yards. Another guy that maybe he's here, maybe he's not. Jamari Thrash, after him, 6 foot, 190 pounds, 24 years old already, and it's just his second season. He was the 5th round pick for the Browns last year. $1 million cap hit. Essentially no production as a rookie. He had 7 targets last year, 3 receptions, 22 yards. Whoop-de freaking do. Not much to speak of. These Browns rookie receivers come in and do nothing as rookies. It's pretty much what it's been. And I get it. We're drafting 3rd round and beyond guys. So the odds of those type of players being able to come in and make an impact right away as rookies isn't very high to begin with. I get that. I understand it. But it just, even, Bell, Woods, Tillman, when they start out their second season, it's still, man, they're just not doing a whole heck of a lot. So we'll see what happens this year. I think the Browns are going to need to continue to add pieces to this wide receiver room. throughout the summer, throughout camp and that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll do an episode here in the future talking about some possible additions for the Browns at wide receiver, but I don't think they can possibly be done yet. But maybe they are. I wouldn't be if I was the Browns. I also want to mention that Cleveland also has Caden Davis on a futures deal, and they also have DeAndre Carter, who they signed primarily as a return specialist, and he most famously stole the number 2 from Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, you know how the narrative is. Joking, but in all reality, it's unlikely Carter plays much at the wide receiver position. He's 32 years old, 5'8", 188. If he makes the roster, it will be most likely as strictly as a return man.